So, I guess the question I would like to start with is where you got the idea to develop this whole program. You started out performing at 18.
Yeah, well, nobody taught performance when I was coming up. The year after I taught in Philadelphia, Juilliard added a course, and then the next year, I don't know, Iowa, someplace out there, added a course. But nobody taught it. You just, if you were lucky, you did good. If you weren't, they yelled at you. This is when I was in music school. But nobody told you how to do it differently or what to do. And I'm a big why person, and how do you do this? So it was that night with the sherry bottle that I was desperate.
Out of necessity.
Yeah.
So how did you didn't have anybody to ask?
No, and there were no books.
So how did you develop this?
Well, we just every month I would do an exercise based on what we were beginning to find out, and we just all developed it together.
Oh.
That there were and discovered that there was this amazing stuff you could do.
Yeah. So you put the course, you set it up as a course.
No, not in the beginning. We were just all in it, experimenting, seeing what worked and what didn't work.
Yeah.
We did a lot of stuff. I remember one where I cut out ads from magazines, because sometimes people are afraid to express anger on stage, but a lot of times that's called for. And so I cut out perfume ads and stuff like that and had them imitate what the body position, and they could see that those models were really, like this.
Yeah.
And so no matter what it was, and some of them failed, but some of them worked. And so out of that, really came a method.
Yeah, and it's important because the information really isn't readily available, and it is in this book here and in her courses as well.
Yeah.
But it's very helpful for performers in the arts, but also for salespeople and for anybody that has to get up and give presentations or be in front of people.
Interviews. I sort of define performance as any time that you're in a situation where you expect to be judged by somebody else. And that could be a first date, or whatever.
Or just casual conversations.
Yeah. And even taking tests and stuff. So we perform more than we think we do. It doesn't have to be, quote, in public. But it's that whole judgment thing that we fear. And really, that's not what your audiences want. I mean, if you go in for a job interview, man, the guy, I've been on the other side of that desk. You are so dying to get this process over with. Please be somebody I can hire. And so there is so much less judgment out there. After I wrote the first book, I learned two things, but otherwise, the method was pretty solid. And one of those was, just after the book had come out, the singer-songwriter said to me, what do you do about people who come, you're always talking about how the audience, wants to love you. What do you do about your competition that's coming just to hate you? And I said, oh, nobody does that. She said, I do. I said, okay. So I had to think that little issue through, And the other was the neck. Strange thing. But if your neck looks weak, if you bow your neck, the audience stops trusting you, and they need to trust you. That's another aspect of what they want. They've come together as a group, so they've lost some of their individual protection. They've dropped that, and so they need you to take care of them as well as love them. Wait, nurturance 101, huh? And that weak neck bothers them. They don't trust you. So even if you're playing a beggar, You have to sort of do it without the neck bent.
Yeah. So, well, without going through a whole course here, what would a person do the very first thing for trying to overcome stage fright?
Recognize that it's natural. I think we get into real trouble when we try to fight it. Well, it's a physiological reaction. It isn't mental. It isn't anything you can overcome with willpower. It's going to be there anyway, so you might as well go with it and use it because it sets the adrenaline going and everything, and you really... If you didn't have it, I'd worry about you as a performer, really. Because you need that extra push from the excitement. But it's your body doing stuff. Yeah. And so to try to think that you should be able to control it just gets you into a whole lot of trouble. Yeah. There are various little things, like if your knees shake, what do you do, and that kind of thing. But I think the basic thing, as soon as you take your mind off yourself and are concerned with the person on the other side of the desk, what do they want, what do they need from you or the audience, it changes your focus completely from this, to really an expansion. You
don't have time to think about your problem if you're thinking about someone else.
Yeah, you shouldn't. I mean, there are exercises and stuff you can go through, and you need to go through the process, I think, of learning what it's like, what your own symptoms are, what it's like, what you can deal with, that sort of thing. That's very helpful. But I thought I'd focus on the positive tonight instead of the negative stuff.
Good. That's always good.
Yeah.
Well, do you have any classes coming up anywhere around town?
No, I'm pretty much teaching privately now.
Okay.
And I've got writing classes going fairly often, and I guess I take the same approach there too. What's the point of punctuation? It's just for the reader's sake, So, and those grammar rules, the same sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, Carol taught a course at the last year's East Coast Songwriters Conference that was here in town, and it's a fantastic class for performers of songs, and everybody that went through there just really had a fantastic time, really learned a lot, and came away with a lot too. So she's got a lot of great information in this book, and a wealth of information just as a person, an awesome writer as well. And so,
Thanks.
So
that was the most fantastic work. I did 2 workshops. Yeah. What great people! Yeah, I mean, they were so willing to believe and do anything crazy I asked them. Yeah. And it was just amazing.
Yeah. Well, we'll set up some more in the future because it's important. Good. We feel like it's important, and you're a fantastic teacher and writer.
Thank you.
And let's give a hand for Carol Roan. Thank you.